The door slammed shut behind Griffin with a finality that shook the old wooden frame of the family house. "No son of mine is a faggot." His father's voice still echoed, even though the man had already turned away. Griffin stood on the cracked porch in rural Ohio, clutching a worn duffel bag that held everything. He owned a few clothes, his laptop, and the acceptance letter he had hidden for months. At 21, he had just been stripped of the only home he had ever known because his father had found the messages on his phone, messages that proved Griffin loved men. The air smelled of cut grass and distant rain, but nothing could wash away the sting of betrayal. His mother had watched in silence, tears in her eyes, yet she never spoke up. His younger sister had peeked from the window, then disappeared. Griffin walked down the gravel driveway, not looking back. The scholarship to Columbia University in New York City had come through only yesterday, a full ride that covered tuition, housing, and even a small stipend. He had applied in secret after realizing his small-town community college would never be safe. Now that letter was his only lifeline. He caught the Greyhound bus at dawn, the ticket paid with money scraped from summer jobs. As the bus rolled through endless cornfields, Griffin stared at his reflection in the window, wondering if he would ever feel whole again. The other passengers slept, but his mind raced with questions. How would he survive in a city he had never seen? Would anyone there understand the weight he carried? By the time the bus reached New York City, the sun was setting behind skyscrapers that looked like they belonged in a movie. Griffin stepped off at Port Authority, the noise and crowds hitting him like a wave. He followed the directions on his phone to the university dorms, arriving exhausted but determined. The resident advisor, a friendly guy named Marcus, handed him the key to room 412 on the 4th floor. "Welcome to Columbia. You're going to love it here." Griffin nodded, forcing a smile. Inside the small double room, he dropped his bag on the empty bed and sat down. The walls were bare, the future unknown. That night, he lay awake listening to the distant sirens, thinking about the family that no longer wanted him. The scholarship had saved him from the streets, but it could not erase the ache. He whispered to the dark room, "I am not broken. I am not wrong." The words felt fragile, yet they were the first step. Morning light brought new resolve. Griffin unpacked his few belongings, then headed to orientation. He kept his head down, avoiding eye contact, until a voice stopped him in the hallway. "Hey, new guy, you look lost." "I'm Isaiah." The guy standing there was tall, with warm brown eyes and an easy smile that seemed to cut through Griffin's defenses. Isaiah wore a simple hoodie and jeans, his posture relaxed in a way Griffin envied. "First year?" Isaiah asked. Griffin nodded. "Same. Let me show you around." They walked together through the bustling campus, Isaiah pointing out the library, the coffee shop, the gym. For the first time in days, Griffin felt seen, not judged. When Isaiah asked about his hometown, Griffin gave a vague answer, but Isaiah didn't push. Instead, he shared his own story, growing up in Chicago with parents who accepted him without question. Griffin listened, wondering if such families really existed. By the end of the day, they had exchanged numbers, and Griffin returned to his room lighter than before. The scholarship had brought him here, but meeting Isaiah felt like the first real gift. He did not know yet that this friendship would grow into something deeper, or that the secrets he carried would soon test everything. For now, he allowed himself to hope. The city lights outside his window glowed like promises, and Griffin whispered again, "I am going to be okay." The weeks blurred into lectures, late-night study sessions, and quiet moments when Griffin allowed himself to breathe. Isaiah became a constant presence, inviting him to group dinners in the dining hall or walks along the Hudson River. They talked about everything from favorite books to childhood dreams, but Griffin carefully avoided the topic of his family. Isaiah never pressed, yet his steady kindness chipped away at the walls Griffin had built. One Friday evening after midterms, Isaiah suggested they grab pizza at a small place near campus. "My treat," he said with that familiar grin. Griffin hesitated, then agreed. Over slices of pepperoni, they laughed about professors and shared stories from high school. Isaiah admitted he had come out at 16 and his parents had thrown him a party. Griffin felt a pang of envy mixed with admiration. "You're lucky," he said quietly. Isaiah studied him for a moment. "Everyone's path is different. Yours brought you here, and that's pretty brave." The words landed softly, but they stayed with Griffin long after the pizza was gone. Walking back to the dorms under streetlights, Isaiah bumped his shoulder playfully. "You know you can tell me anything, right?" Griffin nodded, but the secret of his disownment still felt too heavy. Classes grew harder, and Griffin threw himself into his pre-law studies, determined to prove the scholarship was not wasted. Late one night in the library, Isaiah found him hunched over textbooks, eyes tired. "You need a break," Isaiah insisted, and dragged him to a rooftop party hosted by upperclassmen. Music pulsed through the cool autumn air, and for the first time Griffin danced without worrying who might see. Isaiah stayed close, their laughter mingling with the crowd. When the party thinned, they sat on the edge of the roof, legs dangling over the city. Isaiah turned to him. "I like hanging out with you, Griffin. A lot." The honesty in his voice made Griffin's heart race. He wanted to say he felt the same, but fear held him back. The next morning, Griffin received a text from his sister. "Mom misses you. Dad won't admit it, but he keeps your graduation photo on the fridge." The message cracked something inside him. He stared at the screen until Isaiah knocked on his door with coffee. "Rough night?" Isaiah asked, noticing the shadows under Griffin's eyes. They sat on the floor talking until Griffin finally shared fragments of the truth, the slam door, the hateful words. Isaiah listened without pity, only quiet support. "You're not alone anymore," he said. That afternoon they studied together, and Griffin realized Isaiah's presence made the weight feel lighter. Yet the past refused to stay buried. An old high school friend who had moved to the city for work spotted Griffin on campus and messaged him asking why he left home so suddenly. Griffin ignored it, but the reminder stirred anxiety. Isaiah sensed the shift and suggested a weekend trip to Central Park, just the two of them. They rented a rowboat and glided across the lake, the city skyline glittering in the distance. Isaiah rested his hand near Griffin's on the oar. "Whatever you're carrying, you don't have to carry it alone." Griffin looked at him, the words hovering on his tongue, but he swallowed them. The scholarship had given him a future, but Isaiah was teaching him how to live in it. As winter approached, Griffin's grades soared, and he landed a part-time job at the campus bookstore. Money was tight, but he felt proud. Isaiah celebrated with him over hot chocolate in the dorm. Their friendship deepened into something neither named, yet both felt. Griffin began to imagine a life where love did not have to be hidden. The city kept its promise of possibility, and for the first time the future looked bright. Christmas break arrived, and most students went home. Griffin stayed in the nearly empty dorm, choosing to work extra shifts rather than face the silence of a family that no longer claimed him. Isaiah invited him to Chicago, but Griffin declined, afraid his presence might complicate things. Instead, they video called every evening, Isaiah sharing stories of his family's traditions, while Griffin described the quiet campus covered in snow. The distance only made their connection stronger. When Isaiah returned after the new year, he brought Griffin a small gift, a leather-bound notebook. "For writing down the things you're ready to say," he explained. Griffin hugged him, the embrace lingering longer than friendship required. Back in classes, tension built when Griffin's old friend from Ohio showed up unannounced at the bookstore. "Your dad asked me to check on you," the friend said. "He heard you're doing well, but still thinks you're confused." The words hit like a slap. Griffin asked him to leave, but the encounter left him shaken. That night he confided in Isaiah the full story of the disownment, the scholarship as his only escape. Isaiah's eyes filled with understanding. "You survived that. You're stronger than you know." Their hands brushed, and this time Griffin did not pull away. The turning point came during spring break. Isaiah suggested they visit the Statue of Liberty. On the ferry ride across the harbor, wind whipping their jackets, Isaiah turned to Griffin. "I've been falling for you since the first day," he admitted. Griffin's breath caught. "I feel the same, but I'm scared." Isaiah took his hand. "We'll figure it out together." Their first kiss happened on the island, with the city skyline watching like an approving witness. The moment felt like coming home. Yet happiness invited complications. A classmate, jealous of their growing closeness, spread rumors that Griffin had only gotten the scholarship because of special favors. The gossip reached the administration, and Griffin had to defend his merit in a tense meeting. Isaiah stood by him, providing quiet support. The misunderstanding nearly cost Griffin his funding, but the truth prevailed. Through it all, their bond tightened. Griffin learned to trust, and Isaiah learned patience. Summer brought new challenges when Griffin's mother called unexpectedly. "Your father is sick," she said, voice trembling. "He won't ask, but he needs help with medical bills." Griffin froze, the scholarship barely covering his own needs. Isaiah encouraged him to respond with honesty. Griffin wired what little he could and explained his life in New York. The call ended in silence, but the seed of regret was planted in his family. Griffin returned to Isaiah's arms feeling both lighter and heavier. The scholarship had opened doors, but love was teaching him how to walk through them. Junior year arrived with heavier course loads and clearer dreams. Griffin declared his major in political science, aiming for law school, while Isaiah pursued journalism. They moved into an off-campus apartment together, small, but theirs. Mornings began with shared coffee and quiet conversations. Evenings ended with laughter and plans for the future. Griffin's family remained distant, yet occasional texts from his sister hinted at shifting attitudes. His father's health scare had softened some edges, but old wounds lingered. A major test came when Isaiah's ex-boyfriend reappeared at a campus event, stirring old insecurities. The ex claimed Isaiah had never truly moved on, planting seeds of doubt in Griffin's mind. Misunderstandings escalated when Griffin saw them talking and assumed the worst. Hurt and angry, he confronted Isaiah, leading to their first real fight. "I thought we were past secrets," Griffin said, voice breaking. Isaiah explained the conversation had been closure, nothing more. They spent a sleepless night talking through the pain until forgiveness bridged the gap. The experience taught Griffin that love required courage, not perfection. Meanwhile, Griffin's academic success drew attention. He won a prestigious internship at a Manhattan law firm, the kind that could launch a career. The news reached his family through social media, and his mother sent a simple message: "Proud of you." The words both healed and reopened scars. Isaiah helped Griffin process the mixed emotions, reminding him that growth was not linear. Friendships faced trials too. Marcus, the resident advisor from freshman year, drifted away after learning of Griffin's relationship, choosing silence over support. The quiet betrayal stung, but it clarified who truly belonged in Griffin's circle. Isaiah's loyal friends stepped in, filling the gap with genuine acceptance. Through every challenge, the couple grew stronger, their love a steady anchor. By the end of the year, Griffin stood on stage receiving an award for academic excellence, the scholarship having paid dividends beyond tuition. In the audience, Isaiah beamed with pride. Later that night, under city lights, they danced slowly in their apartment. "You changed my life," Griffin whispered. Isaiah kissed him softly. "We changed each other." The future stretched ahead, uncertain, yet full of possibility. Senior year brought both triumph and reckoning. Griffin's law school applications were strong thanks to glowing recommendations and his internship experience. Isaiah secured a position at a digital news outlet. Their apartment filled with celebration and quiet planning. Yet the past refused to stay silent. Griffin's father suffered another health setback, and the family reached out directly. "We need you," his mother wrote. Griffin flew home for the first time in years, heart pounding. The house looked smaller, the porch still bearing faint scars from that slammed door. His father lay in the hospital bed, thinner, but eyes sharp. "I was wrong," he admitted, voice rough. The words hung between them, heavy with years of silence. Griffin did not forgive instantly, but he listened. Isaiah waited back in New York, offering support through calls. Returning to campus, Griffin faced a final misunderstanding when a tabloid-style campus blog twisted his family story, suggesting he had abandoned them for a lavish gay lifestyle. The article threatened his law school prospects until Isaiah helped him write a response that reclaimed the narrative with honesty and dignity. The ordeal strengthened their partnership. Griffin realized acceptance was not a single moment, but a daily choice. As graduation neared, the couple stood on the rooftop where their friendship had first deepened. Isaiah proposed with a simple ring under the same glowing city lights. Griffin said yes, tears mixing with laughter. The scholarship that once saved him had led to a life richer than he imagined. Family ties remained fragile, yet healing conversations continued. Griffin's sister visited New York, meeting Isaiah and leaving with newfound understanding. The climax arrived at graduation when both families attended. Griffin's parents sat beside Isaiah's, watching their son cross the stage. In the quiet reception afterward, his father extended a hand. "I'm trying," he said. Griffin took it, the gesture small but monumental. Isaiah stood beside him, steady as ever. The journey from rejection to this moment had reshaped them all. Life after graduation unfolded with steady grace. Griffin started law school, while Isaiah built his journalism career. They married in a small ceremony overlooking the Hudson River, surrounded by chosen family and the parents who had learned to evolve. The scholarship that once felt like survival now symbolized rebirth. Griffin's firm offered him a full-time role after graduation, and Isaiah's stories gained national attention. Yet success invited reflection. Griffin often thought about the boy kicked out with nothing but a dream. He volunteered at youth shelters, helping others navigate similar paths. Isaiah stood by him every step, their love a quiet revolution. Years passed, and the couple bought a house in Brooklyn, filling it with books, laughter, and Sunday brunches. Griffin's family visited regularly, the old wounds fading into careful respect. His father never fully erased his past views, but he showed up. That presence mattered. One evening, Griffin and Isaiah sat on their porch watching the sunset. "We made it," Griffin said. Isaiah squeezed his hand. "We built it." Their story was not perfect, but it was theirs. Looking back, Griffin realized every misunderstanding, every sacrifice, every truth confronted had carved him into the man he was meant to be. The scholarship had opened the door, but love and courage had carried him through. As the city lights glowed in the distance, Griffin turned to Isaiah. "Thank you for seeing me." Isaiah smiled. "Thank you for letting me." Can family wounds truly heal when love and honesty finally lead the way? True or false?